The day ownership died, Emily sat inside her car at 6:42 in the morning, staring at a loading icon. Outside it was 12 degrees. Her fingers were stiff, her breath looked like smoke, so she pressed the heated seat button. Nothing. Then a message appeared on the dashboard. Feature unavailable. Renew subscription to continue access. The seat heater was already inside the car. The wiring was already there. The hardware already existed, but the company had remotely decided that warmth itself was now a monthly expense. And in that moment, something much bigger became obvious. We crossed a line. Because this is no longer about movies, music, or apps. This is about ownership itself disappearing in real time. My name is Weston. I spend way too much time thinking about how modern life quietly transformed into a giant permission system. You don't buy products anymore. You lease access. Your car can disable features remotely. Your software can lock your own files. Your smart devices can stop functioning because a server somewhere was turned off. And the craziest part? Most people think this is normal. But what you're watching is the rise of a financial extraction machine designed to convert every part of your life into recurring revenue. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the average person is bleeding hundreds of thousands of dollars into invisible subscriptions, and why the future they're building depends on you never truly owning anything again. The setup, from ownership to access, there was a time when buying something actually meant something. You bought a DVD, it was yours. You bought a game, it worked forever. You bought software once, installed it once, and used it for 10 years. Simple. Then corporations discovered a more profitable model. Why sell something once when you can charge people forever? The industry packaged this transformation with clean, harmless language. Cloud-based services, digital convenience, software as a service. But underneath the branding was a completely different reality. Ownership was being systematically replaced with controlled access. And once you notice the pattern, it's everywhere. Netflix replaced your movie shelf. Spotify replaced your music collection. Adobe replaced permanent licenses with endless subscriptions. Even printers now refuse to print if you don't use approved subscription ink. This isn't innovation. It's dependency engineering. You are slowly being conditioned to accept temporary permission instead of permanent ownership. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but subscriptions are convenient, and that's true. Convenience is the bait. But here's the fundamental thing you need to understand. When a company controls access instead of selling ownership, they gain permanent leverage over your life. Take Adobe. In 2012, you could buy Photoshop outright and use it for years. Today, you pay every single month. Stop paying, and the software locks you out. Your own projects become trapped behind a paywall. You are not buying a tool. You are renting continued permission to use your own work. That's the shift. And once corporations realized recurring payments create infinitely more predictable profit than one-time sales, the subscription economy exploded into almost every corner of modern life. Cars, fitness, gaming, productivity, storage, entertainment, even basic household appliances. The average person now wakes up inside a web of silent recurring charges pulling money from their account every month like tiny financial parasites. Individually, they look harmless. Together, they become economic gravity. The math, the extraction machine. This is where the psychological operation becomes mathematical. Because subscriptions are intentionally designed to feel small. $9, $15, $20. Amounts low enough to bypass pain. But that's exactly how the extraction machine works. It doesn't rob you all at once. It arbitrages your attention in tiny, invisible increments over decades. Let's do the math. The average American now spends roughly $219 every month on subscriptions. Streaming services, cloud storage, software. Delivery memberships, gaming passes, fitness apps, AI tools, premium upgrades, smart device plans. Most people don't even know the real number because the charges are fragmented across dozens of companies. Now multiply that by 1 year. That's over $2,600 annually. Over 10 years, more than $26,000. But the real damage isn't the spending, it's the opportunity cost. Because money is never just money. Money is stored future freedom. If you invested that same $219 every month into a basic index fund averaging 7% annually by retirement age, you don't lose $78,000, you lose over $214,000. Visualize that for a second. That's years of freedom, a paid-off house, a financial safety net, time. The subscription economy doesn't just consume income, it consumes compounding. And this is why modern corporations love recurring billing so much. One-time purchases create customers. Subscriptions create controlled cash flow. You stop becoming a buyer, you become infrastructure, a permanent financial endpoint inside someone else's spreadsheet. And psychologically, it changes your relationship with ownership itself. Entire generations are now growing up believing it's normal to pay endlessly for temporary access, to rent music, rent software, rent entertainment, rent convenience, rent functionality, eventually, rent life itself. You are not buying technology. You are buying scheduled dissatisfaction. The escape plan, how to fight back. So how do you escape a system specifically designed to normalize dependency? You start small. First, perform what I call the lifetime audit. Before subscribing to anything, ask one question: can I buy this permanently instead? Sometimes the answer is yes. Lifetime software licenses, open source alternatives, physical media, offline tools, local storage. The corporations want everything tethered to recurring payments because recurring payments create permanent leverage. Your goal is to reduce leverage. Second, practice physical arbitrage, own more real things. Buy books instead of renting endless digital licenses. Download your files locally. Back up your photos physically. Own media that cannot be remotely revoked because servers fail, companies collapse, and platforms change rules overnight. Digital convenience often comes with invisible fragility. Third, create a monthly ritual called Subscription Sunday. Once a month, sit down and eliminate one recurring expense. Just one. Most people never audit their subscriptions because the system depends on psychological invisibility. Tiny leaks feel harmless until you realize they've been draining wealth for 20 years. And look, this doesn't mean every subscription is evil. Some provide incredible value. But the danger begins when convenience becomes unconscious dependency. Because dependency is profitable. The corporations want you comfortable renting your entire existence. They want access replacing ownership because access can be controlled. Ownership cannot. And maybe that's the biggest shift happening underneath modern life right now. People no longer possess products. They possess permissions. Temporary permissions managed by corporations that can raise prices, revoke features, lock accounts, or disappear entirely. That is not freedom. That is digital feudalism with better branding. Unplug from the illusion. Keep what works. Buy what lasts. Invest the difference. And if this video changed the way you think about the charges silently leaving your bank account every month, hit subscribe, because the next trap is even bigger.